Welcome to the video on how to deliver the 6th grade painting assessment. This assessment is designed to measure a range of art content and skills at the end of the K-6 art experience. Although the lesson challenge remains much the same as in previous years, there are a few noteworthy changes to be aware of. First, the land development options addressed in the lesson delivery now include mixed use. There's a new peer feedback component which gives students the opportunity to collaborate on constructive feedback to help refine their work. The same criteria are assessed as before, but the scoring tool is now designed to align directly with the 3 elementary progress report standards for art. The score sheet and student reflection questions include Portrait of a Graduate attributes of communicator, collaborator, and creative and critical thinker as essential components of this assessment. And finally, the process for selecting samples has changed to allow teachers to select the assessments they will document and submit. With these changes, it's very important that all teachers discard old assessment documents and access the updated assessment files. Make sure to update your PowerPoint presentation, assessment delivery instructions contained in the lesson plan, and student documents before you begin delivering the assessment. You will note that teacher documents indicate notable changes in red text. Be sure to review the pacing guidelines on page 3 of the assessment packet to determine how you should deliver the assessment with your class schedule. The painting assessment should be delivered over 240 minutes of instruction. For most schools, this will mean 3 80-minute classes or 4 60-minute classes. The pacing guidelines indicate the approximate duration for each activity and in which session each should occur. You'll need to make enough copies of student documents for each of your students. This includes the planning matrix, peer feedback form, student self-assessment, and student reflection form. The planning matrix is blank on the back for students to use for sketches. You may opt to just give out the planning matrix during the first session and save the other forms for later. Or you could choose to make a stapled packet of all the forms for students to have for all sessions to limit the risk of loose papers getting lost or mixed up. The choice is yours. Before introducing the lesson, you should prepare to record student ideas during discussion time. You could post chart paper, or record lists on PowerPoint slides, or you could write lists on the whiteboard. Whichever method you choose, you'll need to save their responses and display them during each session of the painting assessment so that students may refer to them as they work. When introducing the lesson, present the situation, which is a real-world scenario that connects to what students know about their own community. In this situation, there's undeveloped land in the student's neighborhood, and the community needs their help in deciding how to use it. 5 options are presented: commemorative, commercial, recreational, residential, or mixed use. Tell students they'll analyze some images to help them to describe what those terms mean. Display the slide entitled Land Development Painting Challenge and tell them they'll be creating a painting of a land development solution that benefits their community. You should ask them to think of ways that land is developed in their community and how development can change a community and how it could benefit the community. As your students answer questions about land development and its benefits, the painting techniques, the illusion of depth, and other details on the slides, record and display their responses. These student-generated lists will assist them in planning their own paintings. Display the planning matrix slide and review the 4 sections on it. Let them know they can list their ideas using words, phrases, or thumbnail sketches. They may wish to refer to the brainstorm lists as a resource for their own plans. Emphasize that good planning here will help them be ready to paint. Direct them to fill in their own matrix, make choices, and make preliminary sketches on the back. They may talk to each other and discuss their ideas during this time. You should allow about 30 minutes for this. If your art classes are 60 minutes, this would be the last part of session 1, and you would begin painting in session 2. If your art classes are 80 minutes long, you could allow those who are ready to begin painting. In this case, you should display and discuss the slides on the painting challenge and the standards for success. At the beginning of each subsequent session, hand out planning matrices and supplies, post all the lists that were recorded in Session 1 so students can refer to them, and review the challenge as directed in the assessment delivery instructions. Present the painting challenge and discuss the criteria so students know the expectations. Review the standards for success so they understand the process that will help them do their very best work. During student work time, distribute their painting supplies and allow them to work independently. Before the end of student work time, introduce the peer feedback expectations. Discuss the criteria and clarify as needed. Consider the needs of your students when deciding how to choose partners for peer feedback. You should explain to them how the process will work as you go over the feedback criteria. You may want to pause painting time and ask all students to give and receive feedback based on what they've completed so far, or you could let them choose when to take a break for feedback. Ensure that students have time to continue painting after they have collected peer feedback. Students should refer to their peer feedback as they think about how to improve or refine their paintings. As your students finish painting and clean up, let them complete the reflection and self-assessment process. Go over the questions with them and clarify as necessary. This should take about 20 minutes. If you run out of time, you could continue this in the next class. Teachers should score student assessments to inform quarterly grades and monitor student progress in developing POG attributes. Refer to the planning matrix, sketches, painting, reflection statements, and self-assessment rubrics when determining scores. A holistic look at several pieces of evidence will help you determine the most appropriate score. The teacher score sheet chart on the right is an option you might want to use to record scores for an entire class. After scoring your students' work, you'll be asked to select 3 samples to share with the Fine Arts Office. This differs from the random sampling process of previous years. Choose one sample from each of 3 categories: a high score sample, a mid-range sample, and a lower score sample. For each sample, you'll need to scan student documents and teacher score sheets and photograph the paintings. You can expect more details on how to submit samples before the testing window opens in February. This concludes the video on the 6th grade painting assessment. If you have questions, feel free to contact us at the Fine Arts Office.